And joining me for a look at the day's markets action is Kearabilwe Nonyana from Scope Prime Africa. Kearabilwe, thanks so much for joining us today. Now, we might have skipped out on the Christmas rally, but it seems like markets are picking up, with most global stocks and the JSE kicking off the first full week of trade of 2025 on somewhat of an upbeat note. Let's talk about some of the factors that are driving markets today.
Yeah, at the beginning of last week, which saw quite a sell-off, I think this week was looking for fresh catalysts, and a fresh catalyst came out with Donald Trump saying in one of the publications that the tariffs that he was proposing during the election season are not going to be as broad-based. So I think that is the fresh catalyst the market needed. But I think on our local market, there was a bit of choppy trade because there was quite strong markets in the morning. But once that statement came out, there was a bit of selling. And I think that had to do with a very strong rand today.
You know, I feel like Trump has been shocking all of us over the past few days. You just mentioned, that the call of not delivering broad-based tariffs. He also then shocked us when he asked the Supreme Court to hold off on the U.S. TikTok ban. Do you expect to see further surprises from Mr. Donald Trump?
No, I think the market has been expecting that he's going to lead to quite a strong economy. And I feel like this is a bit of a Groundhog Day because, I remember throughout his presidency, there used to be such shocks which came out. But if you really look at the health of the U.S. economy, it really did sustain itself throughout his presidency. So I think any surprise from Trump sometimes, let me just say most of the time, is really, really a good surprise for markets. And we can see it in today's trading day. The NASDAQ is sitting almost 2% trading higher. The S&P stronger on the day. And the Dow Jones as well. So, really, risk assets are loving a Trump presidency.
Yeah, let's get into some company news here on the local front. Big news, AMSA announcing the closure of its Longs steel unit. This isn't the first time it's announced this closure. I think last year they did delay it, but it seems like nothing has changed. The situation there still remains dire. And I guess the sad bit is that about 3,500 jobs are at risk when that unit closes. What have you made of the news out of AMSA today?
Yeah, I know the stock is down almost 30%. You wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But I think that truly speaking, as a proud South African, this is a very sad day. And why I say this, it really speaks about the shift of our economy from being a very industrial economy to being a very service-based economy. And things like higher input costs have really driven down ArcelorMittal's profit margins over time. And I think this has resulted in them having to curtail the operations here. They're simply they're truly uncompetitive in terms of the global competitors. And truly speaking, this is a very sad day for me and a pretty sad day for those 3,000 people who are going to be losing their jobs.
They also, announced that the trading update, the forecast for earnings, and they've said that their loss is going to widen. As you mentioned, that share price dropping close to 30% at one point today. What have you made of the update in particular?
No, I think it's quite anticipated. When you're restructuring, having an accounting background, restructuring costs really do become almost once-off costs. This is not the first retrenchment run they are announcing. So it's really just one-off costs which are coming through the statement of profit or loss. But I think for me it's the outlook that is really quite concerning. I think this is one of the industries which in South Africa is a dying industry. But when you look outside of South Africa, in India and China, this is a growing industry which are really taking up and becoming very competitive and are selling their products to the rest of the world. So I think we should ask ourselves the question, and our government needs to step up and ask themselves the question, what makes us remain so uncompetitive in industrial sectors?
And I was about to mention that, the Chinese steel market really performing well. Now, AMSA, not one you're picking up or looking to pick up. What are you looking at? What are you seeing value in today?
So my stock pick is Cenovus Energy Corporation, listed on Canadian Stock Exchange. I think they have one of the lowest cost-based structures in terms of oil and natural gas refinery. And I think one of the only companies which are in the energy space which distribute 100% of their free cash flow to the investors, sitting on an 11.2 PE ratio. I think it still has some legs to run this year, and I think the energy sector is going to be quite interesting in the US and Canada.
Yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and just taking us through the day's markets action. That was Kearabilwe Nonyana from Scope Prime Africa.